Hello all. In this lecture we will see about relational algebra. So we have already seen a relational model and how to design this relational model. So in the previous lectures we have seen to draw the ER diagram, and after that we have mapped the ER diagrams to relations. So that is the relational model. Now in order to do some operations, so if we want to perform some update operations or retrieval operations, we need to have some language for that. So you might have heard about structured query language, SQL. So that's a practical language for manipulating this database. Now there is another formal language. We have two types of formal language. One is relational algebra, and the second one is relational calculus. So we have to, in your syllabus you have to study about relational algebra. So this relational algebra and relational calculus existed even before this SQL came. So it was available even before this SQL. So we can say that SQL was developed based on relational calculus, and later they extended this SQL using this relational algebra. So in this lecture we will see something about relational algebra, and we will see some unary relational operations. So this is the outline of this lecture. We will see relational algebra, why we should study this relational algebra. Then we will see three operations: select, project and rename operations in relational algebra. So relational algebra, so it is a basic set of operations for the relational model. So we have the relational model, and if we want to perform some operations, if we want to retrieve some rows or tuples from that relation, we need to give some command or give some instructions. So for that we use this relational algebra. So operations enable a user to specify basic retrieval requests. So if we want to retrieve some information, we need to have some operations. So these operations are specified using this relational algebra. So result of this retrieval is a new relation. So we will be retrieving information from a relation, and the result will be another relation. That is, when we extract some information from a table, we will get the output as a new table. That's all. So we get a relation, we have a relation, and when we perform some retrieval request, a new relation will be formed. So algebra operations produce new relations. So sequence of relational algebra operations forms a relational algebra expression. So if you have a set of relational algebra operations, then we can call it as relational algebra expression. So there are various kinds of relational algebra operations. First type is unary relational operations, and second is operations from set theory. And there is another set of operations, we call it as binary relational operations. So unary relational operations we will see in this lecture. So unary relational operations means those operations acting on a single relation or a single table. And operations from set theory we will study in the next lecture. We know in set theory we have union, intersection, like that there are different operations. So based on that there are some operations in relational algebra. Then the third set is binary operations, relations between when there are two or more relations are involved. We call it as binary operations. So in this lecture we will see about unary relational operations, that is operations on single relation. So why relational algebra? So it provides a formal foundation for relational model operations. So it is a formal foundation for all the relational model operations. So SQL. So you have different commands in SQL. So you will be learning about SQL commands later. In this module itself, we have to see this SQL commands. So there are various SQL commands where that is a practical language you will be using to manipulate this database. So internally, there is a formal foundation for those relational model operations. So that is why we learned this relational algebra. Then it is used as a basis for implementing and optimizing queries. So when we write SQL commands or SQL queries, we need to optimize those queries. So in order to optimize those queries, we should understand the underlying foundation or the relational algebra. Then it will be easier to optimize those queries in SQL. So some of its concepts are incorporated into the SQL standard query language for relational database. So RDBMS is relational database management softwares have used this SQL queries to manipulate the database. So some of its concepts of relational algebra are incorporated in SQL. So if you could understand this relational algebra, then it will be easier to understand the SQL queries and vice versa. If you know SQL, you can understand this one also. So it is almost similar thing, kind of thing. So the core operations and functions in the internal modules of most relational systems are based on this relational algebra operations. So whatever functions are operations in the internal modules of this relational model system, if you take Oracle or MySQL, whatever is happening inside is are based on this relational algebra operations. So if when we study SQL, we will learn some maybe select from this table like that, select star from employee. So that is a SQL query. So internally, what is happening is some relational algebra operations will be performed internally inside the database software. Okay, so that is why we learned this relational algebra. So whatever SQL commands you do internally, we will be performing this relational algebra and relational calculus. So in your syllabus, we need not learn relational calculus. We will be seeing only about relational algebra. The first type of unary operation is select. So as I have mentioned, unary operations involved a single relation. So select operation, it is used to select a subset of tuples from a relation that satisfy a selection condition. So based on a selection condition, we can select a subset of tuples from a relation. So subset of rows from a table. Then it is known as select operation. So it is like a filter that keeps only those tuples that satisfy some qualifying condition. So select operation is denoted using sigma, the Greek letter sigma, and we will mention the selection condition, and R is the relation name or the table name. So sigma is used to denote the select operator, and selection condition, it can be any Boolean expression specified on the attributes of R. So there are different attributes of R. We will specify the selection condition. We will see an example. Then you will understand. If you want to select the employee tuples whose department number is 4. So in that table there are various departments. In that employee table there are various employees working in various departments. So if we want to select only those tuples or rows who work in department number 4, then we have to specify like this. So these rectangles have come accidentally. You can ignore these rectangles. Okay. So sigma, we will specify the selection condition. Selection condition is department number if equal to 4 from employee. So we have to select tuples or rows from employee with department number equal to 4. So always remember tuples means rows. Okay. To select those whose salary is greater than 30,000 from that employee table. So you can simply use like this, sigma salary greater than 30,000 of employee. So from employee. Okay. So we'll see an example. So this is the employee table. So if you perform this thing, this is a selection condition. This is a Boolean expression. This is a very lengthy Boolean expression. So we will see what it is. So the first selection is department number equal to 4 and salary greater than 25,000, or employees with department number equal to 5 and salary greater than 30,000. So it's a lengthy Boolean expression. So we'll take the first condition. So department number equal to 4. So if we see there are 3 employees with department number equal to 4, and is there. So you know about and or operation and or, and salary should be greater than 35,000. So it should satisfy both the conditions. Here we have 3 employees working in department number 4 and greater than 25,000. If we see, this is 25,000 and this is also 25,000, this is 43,000. So we have only one employee whose salary is greater than, that is Jennifer. Okay, so this condition is satisfied only by one row. Then we will take the second condition, that is department number equal to 5. So we have 4 employees with department number equal to 5 and salary greater than 30,000. This is equal to 30,000. So we have Franklin whose salary is greater than 30,000. Then we have Ramesh also whose salary is greater than 30,000. And this employee salary is 25,000, so we can ignore that one. So we have 2 employees with department number 5. And here is an OR condition. So either this one or this one. So total, the number of tuples will be 3. So we will get the 3 tuples which satisfies both these conditions. So this is a selection operation. So if we see the selection operation, the schema or the column names are not changed at all. So we will get the same column names when we perform the selection operation. The column names won't change. But only thing is the number of tuples will be the subset, or the tuples will be a subset of this tuples. Okay. So we'll see the properties of select operation. Select operation produces a relation that has the same schema of R. That's what I have mentioned here. So select operation, after performing the select operation, we will get a new relation. And the schema, you know what is a schema? Schema means the attribute names. So all the attributes are same, or the column names are same. It won't change. So schema won't change. So after performing selection operation, we will get the same schema as R. Then select operation is commutative. You have heard about commutative in mathematics thing. So here this is meant by commutative operation. So if you have 2 conditions, sigma condition 1, sigma condition 2 of R, you can either perform first condition, you can either select based on condition 2, then after that you can apply condition 1, or you can apply condition 1 first and then apply condition 2. So both will result in the same relation. So that is why select operation is commutative. Then cascaded select operation may be applied in any order. So this is cascaded select operation. If you have different conditions, so this can be applied in any order. It is not mandatory first condition 3 should be applied, then condition 2, then condition 1. It is not. So it is an extension of commutative property. So you can apply condition 1 first, then condition 3, then condition 2. Like you can specify in any order. The conditions can be selected based on any order. Then this cascaded select operation may be replaced by a single selection with a conjunction of all the conditions by an AND operator. So this cascaded. So this is a cascaded select operation. So we have 3 select conditions. So this can be replaced with a single select. So this can be replaced with a single select. Okay, so this can be selected with a single select operation and a conjunction. So AND operation. So select condition 1 and condition 2 and condition 3 from R. So this is cascaded select operation can be replaced by like this. So that's all about select operation. Now second unary operation is project operation. Project. So selection selects certain columns from the table and discards the other columns. So project operation just selects a subset of columns. In the previous select operation, it selects subset of tuples or subset of rows. Here, subset of columns will be selected and discards the other columns. So here it is vertical partitioning. So project operation creates a vertical partitioning. So if you take a relation, it will create a vertical partitioning. In the case of select operation, it is horizontal partitioning. For example, if you want to list each employee's first name and last name and salary from the employee, we can simply use pi. Pi is the project operator, last name, comma, first name, comma, salary of employee. So it will project only these three columns. The rest of the columns will be ignored or discarded. So general form of the project operation is like this: pi attribute list of R. So pi is a symbol used to represent the project operation, and attribute list is a desired list of attributes from the attributes of relation R. Then project operation removes any duplicate tuples. If there are any duplicate tuples, that will be removed. So you'll see an example, then you'll understand why we say this duplicate tuples. So you'll take the same example, employee table is there, and if you apply this project operation, last name, first name and salary. So only three rows will be displayed. This L name, F name and salary will be displayed. So it will be like this: L name, first name and salary. Only three rows will be, three columns will be displayed. Okay. Now if you take another example, if you are displaying pi of sex comma salary. So if you are displaying only these two columns, then if you check, so this will be, those two columns will be displayed with the row values. Now if you check in this table, in this employee table, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tuples are there. But in this table also we can count that there are 8 tuples are there. But in this table we can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 7 tuples are there, because we can see that there is a duplicate tuple in this. So if we check F 25,000, this row and this row are same. So or this tuple and this tuple are same. So we have already mentioned project operation will remove duplicate tuples. So one F25,000 will be removed here. So we have only F 25,000, only one F25,000. The second one is removed. So that is what we have mentioned in the last sentence. So project operation removes any duplicate tuples. Okay. Then we will see the properties of project operation. The number of tuples in the result of project operation is always less than or equal to the number of tuples in R. That we have already seen. Here we have 8 tuples. It is either less than 7 or it will be equal to the number of tuples in R. Then if the list of attributes, so if this list includes a key of R, then the number of tuples is equal to the number of tuples in R. So if this list includes, list includes SSN value, imagine that we are including this SSN in this. SSN is a key attribute. So what happens? All the attributes will be, all the rows will be listed, or all the tuples will be listed, because SSN is a key attribute. So every tuple will be having unique value. So we have to list all the tuples. So if the list includes the prime or key attribute or the primary key of this thing, any of the key attributes, then all the tuples will be listed. That is what is written here. If the list of attributes includes a key of R, then the number of tuples will be equal to the number of tuples in the original relation. Now if we have something like this, if we want to project list 1 and project list 2 of R, so we have two lists here. It is equal to pi of projection of list 1 of R, as long as, so there is a mistake in this sentence. I have mentioned here list 2 and list 1, so you just ignore this thing. So I will say when these two projection will be equal. So if we have two lists like this, it is equal to list 1 as long as list 2 as long as list 1 contains list 2. So this is equal to list 1 if list 1 contains list 2. For example, we will take the same example. So if we have this list 1, last name, first name and salary is list 1, and if we are using another list 2 as first name and last name. So if you are projecting, list 2 is first name and last name. So list 2 is first name and last name, list 1 is last name, first name and salary. So list 2 contains list 1. So it is equivalent to projecting only list 1 because list 2 is already included in list 1. So that is what we have written here. So it is equal to list 1 as long as list 1 contains the attributes in list 2. So it should be read as list 1. It is not list 2. It is list 1 contains the attributes in list 2. So that's all about project operation. Then we have the third operation, unary operation. We call it as rename operation. So when we have a set of relational algebra expressions, one after the other, we may have to rename some, or we may have to store some temporary results. So we have to write the operations as a single algebra expressions by nesting these operations. So if you have a set of operations, we have select, then we have project, like that. If you have a list of operations, and we will study more operations. So if you have a list of operations, then we may have to store some intermediate results. So after applying one operation at a time, we may create an intermediate result relations. So we may have to create a new relation and we have to name that relation. We have to give some name to that relation. So for that we have this rename operation that is already there in relational algebra. For example, if we want to retrieve the first name, last name and salary of all employees who work in department number 5. So you want to retrieve all this information. So there is a project operation and a select operation. So there are two operations here. So which should be applied one after the other. So we will apply any operation in any order. We will apply first the select operation. So this is the operation. So we have two operations. Project, we have to select department number of 5 from employee, and we have to project only the first name and names of salary of those employees. So there are two operations. So that is what we have written here. If we have several operations one after the other, so it can be done like this. So we will first select the employees working in department number 5, and we will create a temporary relation, department 5 employees. Now what we do in the second step, we will project the name, first name, last name and salary from this relation. So we will get the resultant table. So we have to store an intermediate result here. So we have to create a new relation. So we have to rename a relation. So for that we apply this rename operator. So this is an example. So if you are directly applying, you will get the relation like this. You will get the result like this. If you are applying together, you will get the result like this. But if you are storing like this, you are storing it in a temporary relation, and after that you are going to project the first name, last name from that temporary. And if you want to rename those, attributes also, you are renaming the relation name, the new relation that will be formed is R, and you want to change the F name to first name and L name to last name. So that is known as rename. So you can change the relation name, you can rename the attribute name. So everything is possible using this rename operation. So this will be the resultant table. This is the temp table. So there is no change in the attribute name here, but we have created a new relation. Now after applying the second operation, you will get the R. The table name is now R. So we have given a new name to the relation, and we have changed the attribute names also. F name we have changed to first name, then last name and salary. So for that we use this rename operator rho. So it's a Greek letter rho. So it can be expressed by any of the following forms. So rename operator can be expressed in any of these three following ways. For example, rho S B1 B2 Vn of R. So it is actually a renamed relation S based on R. So R is the original relation. We are renaming it to S with columns B1, B2, Bn, or with attributes this one. This is the first case. And this is a second case. We are renaming this R with S and we are not specifying any attributes. We do not specify the column names. So this is the second case we apply this rename operator. And this is a third case. We are not specifying the resultant relation name. We are simply mentioning the attributes only. So it is a rename relation with column names v1, v2, which does not specify a new relation name. So in all these cases, we can apply this rename operator. So this is a reference. So I have mainly followed the 7th edition. So thank you.